Hey guys, Andrew Escobar here, back with another review, and today I am not going to be reviewing another set of LED headlights, and I am not going to be reviewing another set of HID headlights. I'm going to be reviewing these halogen headlights. Now before you turn this video off, this is being made for a very particular and specific reason. If you've seen my videos where I review LEDs and HIDs, you'll know that every single kit I have tested, and I have tested a number of them, all have a certain fatal flaw for one reason or another that makes them unsafe to use. If it's not safe to use, it's not worth having. So I'm falling back to a technology that I know that works, something that is guaranteed to work in my headlight assembly. Halogens. Now I chose these particular halogens because they're the best of both worlds. Now the Sylvania Silverstars are brighter than their standard ones, and the color temperature is a little better, but it's not as bright as their Silverstar Ultras, which are known for having a short life expectancy. Now these bulbs are the 9007 socket, and because it's not an aftermarket product, there's nothing to worry about. Everything will work with OEM parts. The Kelvin temperature is around 4000, and the wattage that it consumes is 65 watts. Now granted, these are only expected to last 200 hours. That's okay. I've had my last set of Sylvania Silverstars last well over a year and a half, and the only reason they stopped working was because I took them out to replace them with an LED headlight, and I accidentally dropped one and touched the other one with my hand. If I hadn't done that, they would have continued to work for a very long time. Now, I don't go with the Sylvania Silverstar Ultras for the very simple reason that the candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and I want something better than the standard because I need to see in the dark well. So, with all that being said, there's no real warranty that comes with these, but the fact of the matter is, as long as you install these properly, they will last a pretty good amount of time. Now, one thing that's recommended is, obviously, do not ever touch the bulb itself. The oils from your hands can get on the bulb, and eventually the heat from the bulb will heat up the oils, and that will kill the bulb. So it's recommended that you use gloves to prevent that, or at the very least, hold it only by the base. Never touch the bulb. But I'm going to show you why halogens are still superior in a standard headlight assembly that was designed for halogens. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so we are here at my 2003 Mitsubishi Outlander LS, and as always right here is where we plug in the light bulb. Now, because this is an OEM bulb and there's nothing special to it, you just plug the bulb in, put the circular retainer lock in place, and plug in the power, and that's really it. So let's just go ahead and do it. Literally within a matter of seconds, I have the new halogen headlight installed, and all we got to do is copy the same thing we did on the other side. Okay, so once again, we are outside on the same garage door we always look at the beam pattern on. The beams are perfectly diffused where they need to be, and this is a low beam, and that's high beam. There's nothing wrong with these beams. They're exactly the way they need to be. So now that we've seen that, let's go on the actual road and see for real how they work in the real world. Okay, so we are on the same road that I test every single light bulb on. Every single LED and HID has been tested on this specific road and on the specific route we're going to be going down, and has been tested in this specific vehicle every single time. Right now we have the halogens on low beams, and as you can see, there's no scattered beams, there's no patchy spots, it's perfectly diffused, and I've got probably 40 to 45 feet of usable light. Now if I switch over to high beams, the beam throw is a lot further down, probably upwards of 60 feet, which is where they should be. And keep in mind, these aren't the brightest halogens you can get either. They're just mid-range halogens that are about $24. So this is what it should look like. There's no beam scatter. There's no absurd beam angle that you get with some of the LEDs. Instead of throwing down the road, LEDs tend to throw their beams and widen to the left and right. But with the halogens, it's doing what exactly it's supposed to do because it's in a housing that was designed for it. So, as always, let's go ahead and drive down the road. We're going to go down the same exact path that I always go down. And the lights on the street are minimal. You know, the street lights don't really do much around here. But we're going to travel to a spot in the neighborhood where there are no street lights, which means there'll be zero assistance from my car's headlights. It'll just be the car producing light in front of us. So I feel completely comfortable driving with these bulbs in low beam in this area. But I can always do high beam and see further down the road. And my lights are not projectors, they are reflectors. You know, there's different types of housing units for lights too, and choosing the right bulb for your housing unit is very important as well. Some bulbs like LEDs claim to be adjustable for either, but realistically, they just don't do well in any of them. And you get a lot of reviews that are fake because they were given to them for free. Oop, rabbit. Don't want to hurt the little bunny. Okay, so let me just readjust the camera here. Once again, we are at the road that I always test things on. This is the low beams, alright? It's pretty dark. But, turn the high beams on, and I can see everything. Now, what you're seeing on the camera is a little different than usual because these lights are around 3,800 to 4,000 Kelvin, which means they're a little more amber, which is, you know, how halogens work. And because of that, you don't get the sharp color contrast that you would out of an LED or an HID. But you know what? There's a huge difference in what we consider usable light and throw distance. The throw distance and usable light are far more important than the color contrast. There's a point at which down the road you can no longer safely see past. That is what we consider usable light. Throw distance is how far the lights will go in a single direction, which should be in front of you. But sometimes bulbs just don't play nice when they're not in the right housing. We got a train coming on the left, but luckily I'm going right. So I'm switching back over to my low beams, and we are going to turn down another road in which I will switch off between high and low beams constantly, so you get a good idea of the difference of standard halogens. Well, granted, these are a little bit above standard, but you know, for 25 bucks, actually a little less than 25 bucks, you really can't complain. Half the price of most decent LEDs, I guess you would say, and granted, most LEDs really aren't that great, so I don't know why I said decent, but low-range LEDs, half the price. Okay, so we're going down the same road I always go down. Now I'm going to be switching off. This is low beam, high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, high beam. You get the idea. And I go back and forth like this because it's easier to see the difference between the two. Now, the main positive of the halogens is that when I put the high beams on or the low beams, they're throwing the light in front of me, not out to the sides, not completely undiffused or scattered or patchy. They do exactly what they're designed to do. And this doesn't mean I'm going to stop reviewing LED headlights either. I'm on a quest to find something better than halogens. But unfortunately, the technology just isn't there. So for my own safety, for the safety of everyone around you, please just because it looks more cool to have white lights coming out of your car instead of these amber lights doesn't mean it's safer. It doesn't mean it's any better. Don't worry about aesthetics. I hope this video has been informative. Please comment, like, subscribe, check out my other videos. I got plenty of them. And as always, I'll see you next time. Drive safe.